Obviously, this was not what happened today is not what anybody was expecting or wanted. We're hoping for a verdict, and I think the family, I don't know if they've talked here, but they're extremely disappointed, as am I. This was something we were hoping to get a conclusion. We thought we'd put a good case forward. Obviously, the jury thought differently. They were hung. I spent quite a bit of time talking with them. They're very open, and they're it's really a good jury. I mean, they paid attention. They took a lot of notes. They obviously were in there for a long period of time and took this case seriously. So this is, this happens. This happens quite a bit in general cases, but especially if you look across the country, there's a number of police involved incidents where it ends up in a hung jury quite a bit. So we always knew this possibility. It's a difficult case. This was not an easy case. This is not a simple case. So at this point in time, I'm sure the next question is, what am I going to do? And I'm not going to make a decision right now. This is something I'm going to take some of the jurors obviously want to talk more. They may be reaching out, so I'm going to talk to them and take a look at everything, and I'll make a decision somewhere down the road. I'm not making a decision today. I'm not going to get into the jury what the jury said. That's something that they told us in confidence, so I'm just going to hold it close to the vest. I know what it was, and so at this point in time, I'm not going to disclose that. I want to get their feedback in terms of what the issues were. Talking to them, I can say they're on point. I mean, they were debating, sometimes you go back into a jury and you're like, what in the world, where did you come up with that? What were you debating on that for? That was not the case here. They were on point. They were discussing the issues that I think both sides had. Obviously there's a split in terms of what, who was believing what on which side. So this was, they were on point in terms of what they were discussing through. So they were very thorough. So, it's going to be a factor, but I'm not going to say, well, because of this, I'm going to decide one way. It's still my decision ultimately based on all the facts and circumstances and looking at our case, looking at the defense case and what's going to happen down the road. So I talked to the family and I said, give me some time. We're all digesting this at this point in time, and it's something I'm going to talk with them too, because I think their feelings should play a role. So it's a process, and I'm not going to rush into it, and we'll go from there. Just like we argued, just like the argument was, was it the moment of the shot was fired? Was that what you're supposed to look at, or is it looking at the totality of the circumstances more? I was arguing, is a taser a dangerous weapon or not a dangerous weapon? It's basically what you saw in the trial and what the two sides focused on respectively. That's essentially what they were focusing on, which I appreciate. I mean, they definitely knew what the issues were, and it sounds like they had a very thorough debate on those. And they couldn't reach a decision, which is not uncommon. So I'm not criticizing them at all. I've never had a jury take that many notes and ask the amount of questions, and quite frankly, very good questions. So they were clearly engaged, clearly dedicated, and I appreciate their work they did. Public pressure, that's. If I had public pressure, just stuck my thumb up in the air and went with that. That had nothing to do with it. I base every decision based on the facts and based on what I think I can prove. This is not, I don't bow to public pressure, because there's a lot of cases I wouldn't issue or would issue based on what the public wants, and I don't do that. So it had nothing to do with public pressure. If I didn't believe in the case, I shouldn't have been trying it. It's a difficult case. This is not an easy case. I've been involved in a number of officer-involved incidents where I cleared them, and if I clear them, that's because I believe it shouldn't go forward. This is one I felt, given all the facts and circumstances, that deserved to go forward, and so it's not a regret that we got a hung jury. And I'm not surprised at a hung jury. This was a difficult case, and you've seen the split in the community. You've seen the jury was there's issues there, so that doesn't change, because if you just try charge a case to win it, you shouldn't be doing this job, because that's not your job. Sometimes they're going to be tough, difficult cases. This is a difficult one. It's difficult for the community, but I still stand by the decision to charge.